Jeremiah Love scored 3 touchdowns on just 8 touches, and Notre Dame's exceptionally well-schooled defense dominated Army basically from start to finish, winning 49-14 here at Yankee Stadium. I am Tim O'Malley, joined by John Brice of Football Scoop and Drew Mentock of Irish Illustrated, and this is Irish Illustrated Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RVMH Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana. JB, other than that one requisite first quarter drive that's going to happen to Notre Dame, it was shut down city after that until the subs came in, and actually they put up some resistance as well, but a dominant defensive effort. And then Jeremiah Love is a superstar at this point.
A suffocating defensive effort, a stellar all-around performance from Notre Dame on a day that we've seen already 3 teams in the top 9 of the CFP lose. We've seen numerous other teams very much struggle today. That's significant. Yes, it was an early touchdown drive for Army. It was not Army's first possession, though. We talked about the need for a quick start and to get Army behind the sticks early. Notre Dame did that. My favorite stat from the game, I told you I was going to drop this on you. I think with the kneel down at game's end for their final play, Notre Dame finishes with 49 points on 48 offensive plays.
Very nice. Very well done, Joe Brice. Also, Notre Dame did not punt, and that's going to lead us to a quote. My favorite quote of the day came courtesy Drew Mentock walking outside of the press room today after Marcus Freeman's press conference.
Yes, as I opened the door, I let Bryson Daly and one of his teammates in, and Bryson Daly looked to his teammate and just said, "They were just good, man," as if that's the only thing he could say to console him. So I think that kind of summarizes just how dominant performance this was for Notre Dame.
You mentioned Jeremiah Love only had 8 touches, 3 touchdowns. He had the 68-yard run. If there's a backbreaker in a game where they was start to finish, that was it to open the half. Opens the game with a receiving touchdown as well. And I asked Jeremiah at postgame, they don't get the ball much to anyone. It is totally spread out. 11 different guys with first downs today. All of those first downs were at least 10-yard gains, so it wasn't like there was a short yardage back getting first downs. Their ability to spread it out has helped this team grow and keeps Jeremiah Love fresh at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think his most carries this year was last weekend with 16. And in total, you look at the last 2 weeks, he's averaging 11.6 yards per carry. And against, Navy tonight was allowing 3.2 yards per carry. So, I mean, he cleared that by 8 yards a carry. Tonight, I think he was at 18, so even more impressive, but just dominant performance.
You mentioned the suffocating defense against Army, and Army had entered the game with the number 1 success rate in college football, which is touchdowns per drive. Notre Dame was number 2 in stopping it. You had a feeling Notre Dame was going to be better in that regard, in staying true to form, than Army. But there was players out there, Don Schuler, learning the option now for a full year. And I asked Don Schuler post-game, what does it mean for you guys to work on this in bye weeks, work on this in August, work on this back in April, hit the ground running? And he noted it's a huge advantage for them.
It's a tremendous advantage, and he made that clear. And the other thing I think that Army isn't accustomed to is facing not only a team with Notre Dame's physical skills and athleticism, but particularly on defense, a team that's so disciplined, that's so well coached, that is so assignment sound. And it didn't matter what wrinkles Army tried to pull out tonight because Notre Dame had an answer for each one of them. Notre Dame stayed at home on some key plays, and Notre Dame just played incredibly sound football. You made a great point just a moment ago, Tio, even though you're guiding it a different direction, about the reserves coming into this game. Steve Angeli was in just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. They started substituting very liberally on both sides of the ball at that point in time. For a team that's spending its last 2 weeks of the season on each coast and then has playoff aspirations that are becoming more and more real each week, I think it's critical that Marcus Freeman has done such a great job, and the rest of the coaching staff, of utilizing those substitutions, not just spreading the load among those running backs and keeping them fresh all year long. But this is a team that lost some key depth pieces early in the year, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But Marcus Freeman and company have done a splendid job of rotating.
And Army, predictably, I think, on the last drive was able to keep the ball they were able to convert a few third downs. Notre Dame stopped them on 13 of 20 third and fourth downs. 5 of Army's conversions came on that final drive. But that defense from start to finish, we talked about the offense, 48 snaps, 49 points, no punts. The defense could have won this game if you had a bad day offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked, before the game in instant analysis about the importance of not letting them sustain drives. And I think 3 of their first 4 drives were 3 and outs. Like, they really showed them right away, like, we're not coming to let you sustain anything. They also did a really good job of not giving up big plays like they did, we kind of referenced. But against Navy, they still had a couple of those that really let them kind of hang around a little bit early. And Notre Dame really shut those down. I think we were talking before, their biggest play offensively came on a fumbled punt, or a fumble
that I don't think was
forward.
19 yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was how they got their biggest play, whereas Navy had 2 60-yard gains. They completely shut those out.
JB, before you put a bow on this, I want to bring up the injury news. Howard Cross did not play. We didn't expect him to play. We thought it's going to be a break glass in case of emergency situation out at USC. Marcus Freeman said he did try to give it a go, maybe vaguely, this week in practice, couldn't go. He mentioned Mitch Jeter is not hurt. It's just that the operation time looks slow. Actually, Pete Sampson mentioned that to me. Marcus kind of echoed it. They don't know what happened on the block. Have to see it, obviously, on replay. And then Kingston Vialamu-Asa, was it sprained knee? Marcus mentioned he was out for the game. I assume that meant this game, and they would further evaluate him.
Yes, he said that he was told on the sideline that KVA was out for this game. He labeled it a knee sprain, but also did emphasize he will be evaluated further tomorrow when Notre Dame gets home. Of course, they're flying directly home tonight, but it'll be in the early morning hours when KVA is evaluated further. I never thought Cross would play in this game. You were all over that a couple of weeks ago, T.O. And for Jeter, it was interesting to hear Marcus say he doesn't think it's health related, but I also thought on the 42-yard field goal attempt, or 45, 46, whatever it was well within his range. I thought he didn't have the oomph to that kick as normal. Like, if it'd been on track, it probably would have been good, but we've seen him kick those with room to spare, and that was going to be hugging the goalpost if he had been on line. So I still think that maybe he's much healthier than he has been, and Marty Biaggi indicated that to me Tuesday when we spoke with him, but I don't think he's still pre-injury Mitch Jeter. I do think they need to keep trotting him out there. He needs to make a field goal next weekend so that he's not into the postseason, into the playoff picture, having not kicked a field goal in 2 or 3 months almost.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame is 10-1, and we had kickoff time announced during Marcus Freeman's press conference. It will be 3:30 Eastern from the Coliseum. At this point, USC and UCLA are still battling, I believe. I'm not quite as up on the what's happening as my colleagues are during these things, but I've heard there's been some upsets out there in the SEC situation as well. We will talk about that and a lot more on Irish Illustrated Overtime. We'll be joined by Tim Priester. Until then, for John Brice of Football Scoop and Andrew Mentock of Irish Illustrated, this has been Irish Illustrated Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana.